Hello. Great, and we're here.
Yeah.
We're just waiting for Brian to join us. Hi, Eric.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah. Also fine. Brian
Great,
is still
so we're
having
waiting
some issues.
for Brian. Well, we'll keep adding him. We'll keep trying. Right? But maybe we'll start talking, and as he joins us, we'll give him a chance to introduce himself again.
Okay.
So, we wanted to talk today about the particular issue of upskilling, right? And
Yeah.
and then we also wanted to continue a conversation about the challenge that we are trying to bring on for aspiring designers in Africa. So maybe we'll just start with upskilling and the conversation that led to that. And my understanding is that the idea of upskilling came up during the finals of Miss Uganda, right? Can you talk more about that?
So last weekend, it's when the Miss Uganda was crowned, and it was an exciting moment because one of the one of the three contestants that made it to the top, we talked to them on our previous lives, so you can go and check out on the lives that we did. There's one when we were trying to show people backstage, and we got the opportunity to talk to one of the contestants, and one of them was crowned Miss Uganda. So if you missed that, you can go and check it out. So we were happy that she won. And during the contestant, during the contestants, they were always asked. There's a question that was always asked to them, that is skilling one of the solutions to end unemployment in the country, and if it's and also why is it like, and also why, if it's the solution, why is it the solution, and if it's not, why is it not the solution? So we wanted to extend this conversation back to us and also to you guys who are watching right now. Is skilling part of the solution to end unemployment or not? So to me personally, on my own view, I think it is partly, it's partly part of the solution. It's not fully part of the solution, because when you see most of the people in the country right now, it's what they're looking at, because when they found out that education is no longer it's no longer one of the solutions that can give you a better life in the future, they started opting for taking people to do skills, which is a very important thing and aspect. But sometimes it also starts with you as a person, because you're also part of the solution to end unemployment. Because when you get a particular skill, it takes you, like, you have to take that extra mile to know how to implement it in the community and to see how you can earn money out of it. So it starts with you and the parents as well, because also most times parents force their children into going to do skills that they are not that they don't love or they don't like to do. So they end up doing a couple of them and failing in them. So sometimes it also starts with it also brings on the parents and the child himself. So skilling is don't only fully the solution to end this, but also us as people are part of this this call to end unemployment in the country.
I think that this is really interesting. So first of all, it's exciting that this topic came up very openly in a very public space in Miss Uganda contest, which means that the issue of misalignment between the education and the job market that we've been discussing for the last 6 weeks is now really on the radar for a lot of people. Not just us, not just one particular industry or just young people who are affected by it the most, but it's actually many people are paying attention and trying to find solutions. So that's exciting. But what I'm hearing from you is that upskilling should come after something else happens, and something else is the mindset. So the young person, and maybe since we are talking about fashion, right? We'll talk about young designers. So there are so many conflicting messages that young designers have to deal with, right? So on the one hand, your parents would say, well, if you're a lawyer, maybe, or a doctor, you're guaranteed a job and you'll have good life. But you really want to do something else. You want to be a fashion designer. But because your parents tell you to go into a particular job, or your teachers tell you to go in a particular job, you go and you keep failing until you failed enough and you start really working on something you love. So it's that mindset that helps you kind of to understand what you want, but then also to persevere. And even when people put pressure on you, like your parents or your peers, you still stay the course and you still go into fashion design. Is that right?
Yeah.
So how do you think that can be developed? Is it something that the person is born with, or you can teach it? Right? Talking about upskilling and education, can you teach somebody to have the right mindset?
It's not easy to teach someone to have the right mindset, but I believe it starts with being inspired. Because when you get, like, when you're exposed to a lot of things, you're always inspired by something. Because everyone, when you look at most of the people that are doing certain things and are doing them well, most of them are inspired by something or by someone. You understand? So I believe when we expose our, like, when we expose most of our people in different things, and also show them people that have achieved well and have done well in that particular occupation or particular skill they are doing, they get inspired. So their mindsets changes. It's not in a way of competition or something, but it's a way of motivating you as a person. Because when you look at most of us, me and Eric, and some other designers like Brian, who are to be on the live with us, we are inspired by different designers across the world. So these designers made us, like, they pushed, like, they inspired us to keep on pushing and also work hard, or like work towards their goals, and also to see how we can be better designers. So I believe when someone is inspired by someone, our mindset changes in a way.
Do you think so? One of the complaints that I heard from young people is that sometimes they're presented with role models that are too far removed, like, I don't know, the president of the country. And, you know, the conversations that were held by young people around the elections in Kenya is that the president seems to be very relatable because he went a journey from being a hustler into being the president. So you can see that journey, you can understand it, and hence the this person presented to you, the new president of Kenya, becomes the role model because you understand the difficulties that they went through and the journey that they went through. But sometimes they're presented with role models like, I don't know, Michael Jackson, for the lack of a better example right now. You have no idea where they're coming from. Are they coming from a rich family or poor family? Did they have any challenges in their career or they didn't? There are some biographies written about them, but in general, you just see that shining star, but you don't know how to get there. So it becomes even more discouraging. So you mentioned that you're inspired by a combination of international and local designers. How did you arrive at that combination that works for you? How did you pick the designers that work for you? And Eric, you're invited to participate.
Yeah, I think Eric you can do that. Okay, let me start. So for me personally, before I even started enrolling into fashion, I had that I was inspired by different local designers in my community that were doing something good. So when I looked at them, and most of them, I used to reach out to them and tell them how they can teach me and how I can learn from them. So this drove me, like there's a way it was motivating me to work even better than them. So I decided to take that extra mile and research more and know more art designers. And for the international designers, there's a designer called McQueen. He died some time back. Yeah, he's one of the designers that also inspired us a lot, so that we can create things that are not things that are so poetical, things that are things that have art in them. So he was also one of the designers that really motivated me. And also there's another designer called there are two designers. They work together. They are called Victor and Rolf. They're also good designers. They also inspire us a lot, and the way they create their stuff and everything. So when we look at these people, they inspire us to create even more things that are not we couldn't expect from us. You get. So when someone has a role model or a person that inspires him or her, there's a way they motivate them to work harder.
So is it that you're inspired by their unique thinking and creativity, and they challenge you to also think outside the box? What about you?
And for me, it's just about, we are inspired by many designers, yes, right away from the beginning. But what makes you stand out, that's the only touch you can be inspired by from the other designers, because I believe everyone has a different touch in a way of creating, in a way of being inspired by different aspects of life. Yeah, that's how I think every designer, you need to create your own base, how you create your stuff, how you start right away from scratch. Because when you look at some of the designers, when they get inspired, they do the let me say how the same thing like for the other designers did. That's why the law of copyright is not working in Uganda. They copy and paste. You get? I think when you be inspired, don't copy and paste. I think you need to do your own stuff, manage your own stuff, do it away from scratch, and that's the way you can value your work, add on more on what you have. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that can. Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you. I didn't mean to. So basically, both of you talk about researching other designers and getting inspired by creative ideas. But that gets you to, I really want to be a designer. But when your mom says, no, I want you to be a lawyer, how then do you develop that courage and persuasion to say, you know what, I can be as successful as a designer as I will be as a lawyer, or maybe close to, but I'll definitely be a happier person if I'm a designer versus if I'm a lawyer. So how do you do that? How do you teach young people to be able to defend their choices?
So for me, I didn't get that chance to, whereby my parents could, like, they believed in me in first time, so I didn't pass through all that whereby they wanted me to do something else. So there's a way I convinced them, and they liked what I wanted, and yeah, they supported me. But when you have someone that or a parent out there, and you have your child that wants to do something that you feel could not or you feel it's not what you wanted for him or her, I think when that child has passion in that particular occupation or particular thing he wants to do, just support him or her, because I believe in every sector, when you're doing it passionately and when you love what you're doing, you can eventually earn a good living and get good money out of it. Because when you see in different, right now, art, there's a way art is appreciated differently, because it has opened people's eyes, and it has, because mostly when you look at most of the occupations that are there, most of the times it's art that's being put aside. You get, parents don't think that artists can really earn out of their art. So that's why they push other people, they push their children to other occupations that they believe can make them earn more money than art. So for me, I believe that right now things have changed. Art can also earn you a lot of money when you believe in your art and trust it. And the way Eric has said, most of the times when you are inspired by someone, don't just copy him directly what he is doing. Just be inspired by what he is doing, and get your own touch, and discover your own touch and your own niche, and try to make it better. Just try to develop your craft and make it better. So there's a way it will help you as a designer, and also like bring that uniqueness in you. You will love what you're doing, and also your mindset will change. So for the parents, I believe art right now pays, and it also there are a lot of different revenue channels that you can pass through and earn out of your art. You get, so like the fashion designers, you can sell your products. You can sell your products to different people. You can also cut right now us. We can sketch for another fashion brand that is out there. We can sketch for them a collection. We can make for them a ready-to-wear piece. We can work together like in a partnership and try to develop their brands. We can sell our work as portraits. So there are different ways we can earn money out of our, but it depends with you as a person. How are you going to change your mindset? How are you going to see, how are you going to prove your parents wrong that the career that you took can really make you get the money that it can help you survive in the world. So it's a bit difficult, but I believe you can survive. Yeah.
So before we move to the next one, I just want to ask you maybe a challenging question once again, right? So you said at the beginning that this mindset is not innate, right? You can develop this mindset. So the mindset that helps you to get going with your own career is not innate, right? You said that it can be developed.
Yeah.
Right? So then we talked about how the school can help, or education can help, because you can bring in all the different role models and you can say, well, here is the lawyer who succeeded, but here's also the fashion designer like Alexander McQueen, who also succeeded and doing really well for himself. Here's also an artist, and on top of my mind, let's say Hussein Wadu, which is a really popular painter right now in Kenya. He's also very successful, and there are a couple of other painters who have been very successful in both making the money, making the name for themselves, but also contributing to the society, right? So aside from presenting those role models, what else education can do? Like, how can they get you into this mode of you get inspired and you start researching different people, you start researching different careers within the fashion, because even the fashion world, right, there's so many careers aside from a fashion designer. You can be so many different things. You can be a fashion photographer, you can be a fashion blogger. How do you inspire people to start researching those careers outside just presenting them with different role models? What else can be done?
So for me, I think what else can be done besides that, because when you look at these all things, these all careers that we do, that those things that always come in that they always connect in this all occupations that we are talking about, whereby you have to know education can help you to sell your art and to have the good communication skills, whereby you can also you can communicate well and sell your art. And also it can also help you in a way that because there are those topics that come in or that those lessons that always come in that connect with a day-to-day life, whereby you can use your computer very well. You can try to there's a way it helps you to sell your art in a different way, because apart from just this mindsets and bringing role models alone, but there's that aspects that come in that helps you to evolve as a person and like move on with the world, the way the world evolves. Because when you have not passed through school, there's a way your mindset is not well polished. So it helps you in that polishing. You get, whereby
Yes.
it's easier for you to evolve, with the world.
Okay.
Let me hope I've answered the question very well.
I think you did. So I just want to call the people who are watching us to also participate. So I've just seen that one of my friends, Cleve, has joined the call, and he has a unique combination of occupations. He is actually a lawyer, and he's also a fashion photographer. So
Wow.
if you'd like to give us some tips in the text, how you're combining those two occupations and what helps you to balance the two worlds, the worlds of legalese and the world of creativity, please, we would love to hear from you. So my next question to both of you actually is, you both mentioned something around practical skills. Right, so we talked about it in our previous chats. You also mentioned right now. So I was just thinking before we started the conversation that there are some skills when we talk about upskilling, right? There are two types of skills. So there are some skills which you really need as a fashion designer. So you really need to understand the human body, maybe the anatomy of the human body, the structure, the angles. You mentioned previously, you need to understand math, because you need to be able to calculate different proportions. You need to understand geometry, right, to be able to do the patterns really well. So there are these specialized skills and sciences that you need to know, to which we'll get. But there are also very practical skills, right? If you run your own business, you need to, as a minimum, know how to budget. So you need to know how much money you need to run that business, to buy the materials, to pay for somebody to help you, right? So you need to have these budgeting skills. Then you need some skills in how you keep the records, your income, your expenses, how much money you have to spare to build next collection. You need to be able to do some networking, right? So you need to be able to connect with the right people, to get invited to Miss Uganda, for example, or to have your interview posted somewhere. You need to be able to introduce yourself to people. So that's networking. You also, even today, mentioned marketing and sales, right? So you have the opportunity to sell on Instagram, but you need to know how to do it. So do you think that's something we also talked about last time? I remember Eric mentioned something about practical skills that help to contribute to industries that are part of the economy, like assembling and disassembling the computer in India would be a skill that a young person needs to have. So maybe in Uganda, one of the skills that a young designer needs to have is to be able to actually design on the computer, right? So where would that come from? So can that be part of the curriculum, or is that part of upskilling that sits outside formal education? What do you think?
Like when you look that's right. When you look at most vocational institutes right now, and the courses that they give students, it's always they always put computer as a compulsory subject, and also computer and mathematics. Those are the two compulsory subjects that they always do. And also, most of the times, they also include the English subject as well. So I believe these are the subjects that everyone has to have or has to learn as a person to help him in the way, as you've said, in marketing, networking, and also evolve with the world, because the world is moving on a faster speed. So you have to know what is happening right now. How? Because I've been seeing different ways people are promoting their businesses. How can I also like come in and promote my business the same way? So you have to have that knowledge, that first knowledge that will help you to evolve with the world and move with the technology. Because most of the times right now, technology is as a way it's on the first front of the world right now, because there's no way you would promote your business out of just like leaving technology aside. They have to move hand in hand. So when you have those skills, there's a way to help you as a person and as a business to move forward.
Yeah. Eric, what do you think?
For me, I take it back to nursery and primary schools, because that's where like young people, their mindsets are open to learning, to take in everything they are given. Get it? That's where you like, that's the only way teachers should teach. That's the only way teachers should teach the kids. Get it? And in that way, when you reach a certain age, like 16, that kid will be able to get to know how to run the business. When you reach at the age like 16, children should be like in Europe. When look right now in Europe, people are at a certain age of 16. They go to school at the same time they are working. You get? I think we should improve our education system in that way. And when we reach a certain age, people should be learning at the same time working. In that way, people will be able to, or kids will be able to run their economy, will be able to run different businesses. Because I believe when this kid is groomed right away from the start, practicing different jobs, different ideas, like tallying, like many different skills. When this kid reaches a certain age, he or she will be able to run a business, will be able to work. You get it? Will be able to be inspired, because you reach a certain age when you're old, you're not like, your mindset is already settled to work. When you reach a certain age like 30, 40, you will be able to work, settle in the business. I think that's it.
So do you think, in colleges and vocational schools, I'm not sure if vocational schools in Uganda have that, but I'm sure colleges do. You have internship, right? So you study, and then you go to a certain company and you just work for them, sometimes for a little bit of money.
Internship, that's right. We have internship, but unfortunately, the internship is not in college. It's in the it's in the university. When you're done with everything, that's when you do the intern. But most of the students that go for the intern, they go for the intern when they do their intern for like 3 weeks or 2 weeks. So when they go there when they don't know anything about the business. So in those 3 weeks, it's always hard for some people to really capture everything that they have been told, or to really understand the business that they're doing. But most of them are lucky. There's a way most of them, when they're lucky, they they tend to get jobs where they did their interns from. But it's not that everyone can get that opportunity or can be like in that way so that he can get a permanent job where he has been working from as an intern. So internship is there, but honestly, it's not something that someone can really rely on and be like, yes, I can get something out of here. And when you see most of the people that go for the intern, they're exploited in a way. They are just used and they do certain things that they are not. You get, so it's a bit confusing, but we have it. It's there, but it's not so helpful.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, because it feels like there is a space for internship, right? Because what we're talking about is we don't necessarily want young people to be in school full time, but then also work full time. So it's a combination of the two, where maybe you study for 2-3 months, but then you take 2-3 months and you're exposed to a particular job in a particular community, but it can't be 3 weeks. And it can't be at the college level, because then you miss the time, right? So it seems like it needs to start very early, maybe like middle school, where you go for a couple of days and you just see what different jobs are, what different communities are. And, right?
Yeah. It also helps you in a way with, like, you get is, and you also discover yourself very fast when you are exposed to such things. There's a way. That's why when we are still young, parents used to, most of our dads used to take us to their workplaces, not just to be there and pray around, but to just be inspired and see, well, okay, my dad is working from here. This is what he does. There's something that I've learned from there. So when students are taken to different workplaces, there's a way they get inspired. There's a way there's something that picks, there's something that connects. It's just a matter of a small spark that can come into his mind and be like, you know what, I think this is what I want to do. So all like you may be mistaken, but you always have that time to change and like discover yourself in a way. So I believe, as you have said, it's a good thing that students have to be taken to different places so that they can be explored and be inspired.
So one of the things that Cliff is saying, I'm just trying to read the message. So the way he managed to balance his career in the legal world and also his career as a photographer, as a fashion photographer, is by choosing a flexible legal career and being a consultant as opposed to a full-time lawyer. And that allowed him to kind of balance the two passions that he has in his life. So I think this practical exposure that we're talking about can also show you, on the one hand, it can help you to link what you're learning in school, like geometry, to what you actually will be doing as a designer, right? It just brings it together. So how do you make a pattern? Well, you're actually using geometry. Ooh, so if I want to be a designer, I need to know geometry. Well, yes, now you know why. But it also exposes you to different ways of working. You don't necessarily have to be working for one company 9 to 5. You can choose to be a consultant. You can choose to be a part-time worker. You can choose to be a seasonal worker. For example, you only work on fashion shows. And I know there are a lot of people, for example, who say, I work on fashion during the fashion show season. And that's where I apply my skills as the program manager, as whatnot. But Fashion Week season is, for example, 4 months. So I work in fashion for 4 months. This is what I do. But then the rest of the year, the other 8 months, I'm doing something else, and maybe I have a different career going on. So this practical exposure, being in the company, talking to different people at a very young age, asking these open questions can help you to actually figure out how you want to do your career and what career you want to pursue. Am I hearing you right?
Yeah, that's right.
Great. And the school can be the one spearheading that, right? School, and you mentioned that it even can start at the kindergarten level, right? Or primary school level, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because when you go to when kids go to primary and nursery schools, they are open-minded. That's when the kid is open to learning. Is open to everything. You get open to
Hmm.
everything to take into his mindset. You get
It's
because you reach
interesting.
a certain age. You reach a certain age when you go when you've grown enough and your mindset is not open to learning, it's not open to doing anything.
Just
Okay?
looking for money.
Just looking for money. Okay?
Right.
Because
Exactly.
I believe in primary and nursery because that's only the level where this kid is ready to study, is ready to put in much than to be old and you're putting in less to learn. Yeah.
Great. So Cliff is also adding that sometimes internship is organized in a way where you have internship during the day and then you go back to school for classes in the afternoon or in the evening, which also might work, right? So if you, for example, in a group of people who are learning how to be fashion designers, you go and you observe what fashion designers do during the day. And then you come back to the class and you have an opportunity to discuss it and talk to your teacher and share your what you've learned and process it a little bit better. So that's also a great option. So
Yeah.
now moving on to specific skills, right? As we discussed, we touched a little bit on that, as a fashion designer, you want to know geography really, geometry really well. Well, geography will help as well. So then when you start traveling for, your fashion shows, you know exactly where you're going. No, my husband told me one time he was traveling. He used to have a sales job with IBM, and he was traveling to different countries to present the product to them. He ended up in the wrong country. And I'm like, how is that? Well, how can you land in the wrong country? I understand maybe wrong city or something, wrong country, really.
Yeah, but wrong country.
But so geography helps, right? But then geometry is also really important. So there are some scientific skills that school already teaches you. Where do you get practical skills? Like what we talked about for designers specifically. Aside from you now graduate from school and you go to specialized institution like Records Fashion School, and that's where you learn how to do patterns, how to do stitching. Where else can you learn that?
Apart from school.
Yeah, apart from
Uh,
Records Fashion School, can you learn it
apart
before
from
you graduate from school? Like what we're talking about, that by the
some,
age of 18, you want to have some practical skills, which is just how you run your business. You want to be inspired and have the right mindset, but you also want to have some basic skills that are important for your profession, right?
yeah, there are some schools. There's a school. There are some schools here in Uganda. I think it's one school that I know about. It starts teaching children from the age of from the age of 5. Uh, they teach them how to do how to do work on uh, art art related courses, because it's an art institute and it works on it has an upper level and a lower level, so it teaches these kids how to do different things in line with art. So there's a way it brings them in an exposure of the art world,
Mm-hmm.
and how they can work around with the art related courses. So, and also someone how we can learn these things apart from school. You can learn these things from your parents, because there are certain people that we see, or certain designers that have that have something that learned how to do these things out of, like, from their parents
Mm-hmm.
or from their relatives. So it's not so much in the lower level of education here in Uganda, but people have started adopting it. So sometimes for the parents, they bring in different, during holidays, they bring in different people that could help their children to learn different skills, and during the holidays. So after that, they after the holidays, they go back to school. But for me, I believe when this such an idea is adapted, whereby someone like that school that I'm talking about, it's called Artfield. When people start adapting something like that, there's a way someone can really get motivated. I notice it's not just about the art world, but different aspects or different expressions. So when you get exposed to them, there's a way it helps you like change your mindset as a person doing at an early age, and also get more exposure in that field. Yeah.
Me,
Okay, go ahead then.
I personally, I believe in a baby, like we call it baby steps. Get?
Yeah.
We call them baby steps because for me to start school, like getting studies of fashion or lessons of fashion, I started from a certain school somewhere, but I can't mention it out. Like after accomplishing those studies, I think that it's not enough. I need to add on. That's where I found out Rico's Fashion School, add on my profession. Right now, I believe I'm achieving my goals. When we take baby steps, sometimes you can achieve your goals, reach where you want, reach your success. Okay? Because if I decided to stay where I stopped, from a certain school, right now I wouldn't have reached where I am right now. I wouldn't have been speaking maybe to you, maybe to other professional teachers, professional, let me say, in every sector, because I believe there are many sectors in modeling sectors, in every sector. To add on, it has helped me to get to be more professional in what I'm doing, to be more skilled, to be more everything. I think, yeah. I just tell my fellow creatives, you need to be passionate about what you're doing, pursue it, and do it loudly. To get like you can achieve your goals in that way. Yeah.
I agree with you. So one of the things you're talking about also, kind of the last skill that we discussed is perseverance, right? So baby steps, being able to take baby steps requires a person to be very patient, because that means you're kind of moving along, but it might take you for a while before you become, I don't know, before you land your big fashion show, before you become recognizable by people, but you still need to be moving. You still need to be able to not give up. So this is also not an innate skill. How do you learn that patience? How do you learn to just stay the course and say, I've chosen the course. Maybe I'm making baby steps right now, but I can see that I'm moving in the right direction and I'm going to stick with it for now.
It takes us back to being passionate in what you're doing.
Yeah.
So when you get the right career or the right occupation or the right thing that you want to do, you'll be patient with it because you believe in it. And also the patience has to come in what you believe in, because most of the times like our story is so long. When when we start narrating it has, we have been so patient. Like we are even still right now, we are even still patient with it because we know it's we still have bigger goals ahead of us. But it also starts with you. You have to first believe in yourself and believe in your craft, what you're doing. However slow it takes you, but you love it and you love what you're doing. Eventually, you will reach there. So the patience comes with you believing in what you're doing, and also you are having that passion and that drive that that will motivate you and still move with the cause. So I believe first love your art and what you're doing, then the patience will come with that. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the last thing that we also discussed in that upskilling. So when you think of upskilling, right, and when you think about the career that you want, you need to find resources. So how do you learn how to find these resources? How can school maybe or educational system prepare you to look for resources? Because one of the complaints that I do hear a lot from people who aspire, who just start in their career, they're like, oh, but I can't get this. Nobody gives me this. Like nobody would give me an internship, or nobody would give me a loan so I can start a business. Nobody would do this for me. Nobody would do that for me. But the way that you are describing it, it's you who went out and did the research. It's you who found the resources. It's you who kind of found new ways of sourcing materials for your outfits. Like your collection that you presented at Travel Chic was mostly recycled fabric, right? So recycled uniforms. It's not like a school approached you and said, here guys, have our uniforms. You can do whatever you want with them. You have to find them, right?
Yeah.
So how do you learn those skills? How do you become resourceful? Maybe that's the word.
That's right. What you have said is right, because most of the times you won't get, the school won't teach you how to get the resources, or it won't show you that you have to get the resources here. It has to start with you as a person. And as I've said, right now the world is working with technology a lot. When you look at our story started when we were so passionate about this, and we had no resources. We had nothing like any resource that we can work with, but we had the drive. So how we got these resources were through the technologies. So they used to, like, we used to do a lot of research, and we used to follow a lot of people. So during that time we got different grant, like we got different opportunities or call for designers, whereby these people call for designers and they'll be like, you come and apply and present your stuff. So that's how we got the resources. So that's how we started pushing our brand. So I believe when you are an artist or someone that is in line with art, there are a lot of, you have to evolve with technology. You shouldn't you shouldn't separate yourself away from technology, because the world is moving so fast with it, and a lot of opportunities are there. So when you see an opportunity, because for us we saw the opportunities whereby they were calling for designers, where like we can really we believed in what we had inside us, however much we did not like present it or like it wasn't out there yet, but we believed in it. So when we went for this course, we like people really loved what we portray, like what we get, like we showed to them. So that's how it all started, just like that. And we started keeping on pushing, keeping on looking for these opportunities one by one. And because when you look at most times what we do, it's always hard to like fund or fund these projects that we do, but it's out of these opportunities that we have always been getting online. And they fund the project, we do the project, and they fund the idea that we have. So I believe an artist or someone out there that is looking for resources, you shouldn't separate yourself away from technology. You have to work hand in hand with the technology, work hand in hand, promote your art, try to look for the opportunities out there. You eventually find them, and when you see them, don't undermine yourself. Don't be like, you know what, I may not do this very well. You just believe in yourself and go for it. You never know what will come out of that. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing really interesting from you is that the part of upskilling that's really important might be to teach young people while they're still in school, or I don't know, in a upskilling program, what technology really means in their life, because we're all presented with a laptop, right? But the first things that we learn about the laptop, oh, you can use Word to type up something, to type your school paper, right? Or you can use Excel spreadsheet to do your math homework. And it limits to that, and it kind of creates this image of the computer and technology are only for specific things that are associated with school. But we rarely hear something like, oh, you can use the internet to actually find resources, because there are so many free resources. So I remember, again, to bring in my daughter, who's an artist, she always tells me about the free software that's available online. And I'm like, it cannot be that it's free. And she says, yeah, it's free. So somebody developed it and somebody wants to now test it. So they're giving it to students like me for free because we help them by testing it, and they help us in return by helping us develop new skills. So there are resources available, and technology can connect you to those resources. So maybe going back to upskilling and the role education can play, and all the various programs that upskill you, is to actually make this connection for you where technology is your friend and it connects you to resources, as opposed to, you know, your computer is just for doing math homework.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, me,
yeah.
I believe, well, what I say about that, many creatives wait for bigger funds to start up. Okay,
Yeah.
I think you should, as a creative, you should start with what you have. Start
Yeah.
with that small thing you have. Yeah, you may be looking for a certain fabric and you don't get it, and you will not find it anywhere, because we Simline, we use everything that comes in our mindset. Okay. Right now, you look at many creatives, they are waiting for bigger funds to move their projects on, to move their many projects to move on. But see, in this, you're going to wait for a bigger period. You keep on like to go, let me say, in depressions, because people will not react on what you're giving them. They will not. But when you use what you have, you will get out of it. You reap out of it. Like what I tell creatives, they should start with what they have. Don't wait for big things. Don't wait for bigger funds. Don't wait for anything. Don't wait for anyone to start your project. You should be the main person to stand out for yourself. For many, like you should be the same person to stand up for yourself. Others will come in later when you have started. Yeah. Thank you.
That's very cool. So Cliff, I'm also getting a message from Cliff in the chat who says, through mentorship, I was taught how to get photo projects that funded my creative career. So there are projects, right, that are available even to people who are just starting. And sometimes the technology that connects you, but also mentorship is really, really important in this regard. So that actually brings us very nicely to another conversation that we wanted to have, which is the conversation about our challenge, the goal for which is just that we can provide mentorship for people who are really and truly serious about the career in a creative career, right? We're not limiting it to just fashion designers, but also have these conversations and try to upskill each other through those challenges. So do you want to talk about the challenge and what we want to do about it?
So yeah, thank you for the opportunity to talk about this challenge. It's in line with Creative Community Africa. So if you don't know about Creative Community Africa, it's a new project that we started just from these lives, that will be trying to connect different artists and different creatives out there, and to see how we can still use our creative minds and our creative work to send awareness to different people about different aspects of life. So every week we are going to be having different challenges, whereby these challenges are going to challenge us, come up with different ideas and different things and different solutions that we can use creatively to share or send a message to everyone, that to the communities, and see how our creative minds can communicate, and our creative work can communicate. So the challenge is about it's about let me first look for it. Just a moment.
Are you looking for the name of the group?
No.
Ah, okay. So I'll just pick up the conversation. Meanwhile, while
Okay.
Edward is getting ready. So what we want to do is with these challenges, right? We want to keep the spirit of Simline and the using fashion as voice to raise various challenging issues in our community, talk about things that are important to us as the community of creatives. So not just create fashion for the sake of fashion, right? Even though that's an important part, but also use fashion to talk about difficult issues. And when we were thinking about it, one of the ideas that came to mind, there are a lot of, if you look on Instagram, there are a lot of accounts that are devoted to people who are somehow misunderstood by their communities. So maybe because they have disabilities, or maybe because they have mental health problems, or maybe because they are poor. So somehow they're different from the communities where they live. And that leads to them being misunderstood and excluded. So what we want to do is actually highlight those groups that are doing really difficult work of helping those people to be understood and to be included. So for our challenges, we want to pick different organizations that work with particular groups of people and helping particular groups of people, disadvantaged people. And then our challenge would be structured around those organizations. So can you respond to the issue that this organization is raising in a very creative way by creating an outfit or another creative product, right? So maybe Edward and Eric, you can talk about your Rubik Cubes collection and how that Rubik Cubes collection kind of very much an example of inclusion and explaining people who might be misunderstood by their communities.
Yeah. So thank you, Anna. So I was still looking for it. It was yeah, as you have said it. We are the challenge will be talking about people that are really misunderstood in the community, because there are a lot of people that are really misunderstood and are taken differently, which is not really a good thing.
Oh, you just lose light.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as I was still saying, we are going to share with you our project that we did. It's a project that was talking about one of our brothers called Semi Bosco. So Semi Bosco is our elder brother, and during that time I was into school, and he got into he got into drugs, which he didn't intentionally like, but because of the peer pressure that and the communities that and the people that he was involved in, he ended up doing drugs. So Semivule, by that time, he was an intelligent guy and used to love his Rubik cube a lot, like so much. So putting Semivule aside, during that time, it was 2019, we saw an open call that was looking for different designers that can air out or can talk about the inclusion topic. So we went for it, and they told us to come up with anything that is lined with inclusion, but we have to use our fashion, or we have to use fashion to represent this issue. So when we looked at this topic, we were like, how can we do this? How can we approach this topic? So we looked at different inclusion, different people that are in line with inclusion. And so we're like, why can't we talk about our brother's story? So that's how we came up with Semivule's story. So the Semivule was a drug addict, and unfortunately, he reached a time whereby he got a mental breakdown of like a result of overusing the drugs. So after some time, he ran away from home and he disappeared for some time. But we tried, like the family and the friends, we tried to look for him, eventually we got him from some area, and he was taken to rehab for some time. So after the rehab, he got better, and he got an opportunity to go back to school and restart his life again. And now he's a good guy, and he's one of the important people in the community. So we were trying to show people about in this Rubik Cube project. We're trying to show people about the people that are misunderstood, as Anna said, people that are in this group of inclusion. Like we really misunderstand most people, not knowing how their story will end. Just as like after just seeing them right there, thinking that they are wasted, or their life has ended, or like just that being like misunderstanding these people. So in this project, we are talking about our brother's story, Semivule, that was talking about mental health. So it's not only about him, but there are a couple of people who are passing through the same issue of using drugs and having a breakdown just because of the results of drugs. So this that's how we created the Rubik Cube collection. So this outfit, when you go on our page, or when you check out Gilda Tota's page, or the blog he wrote about us, you will see the photo of this outfit. So we were inspired by the Rubik Cube itself, whereby because I was nicknamed Rubik, and he loved his Rubik a lot, so we wanted to get something that is so attached to, so something that was so attached to him. So that's why we used the Rubik Cube and created this outfit that was talking about his story. The Rubik Cube was a bit messed up, talking about how his life was messed up before, and then during as it was raising up, it was it eventually organized itself. So we're showing people that like drugs are not good, and drugs may lead you in something that is not. May lead you to a breakdown or a mental health issue. So we have to use them. Like we shouldn't use them at all. You get and most especially the youth. Like we should stay away. Like stay away from them, because they may lead us into mental health issues. And also trying to communicate to the community that include about the aspects of inclusion, that people like that must not be misunderstood, or they must not be taken as people that are wasted, but they should be brought together and try to advise them, or try to give them that comfort, and show them they are useful people of the community, and it will be helpful to them and also to the community as well, because such people are the ones that would advocate for these issues of drug abuse, or the issues of mental health after they have got better.
You know, I really like two things that you said. I really like the whole story, but there are two particular things that I really like. So one is we generally see people at one point of time, right? So we generally see, so for example, the Rubik Cube, you met him when he was the drug addict, or somebody would meet him when he was a drug addict, and they will be like, okay, this guy is wasted, moving on. But you don't know the story that led him there. And you also don't know what's the end of his story, right? And his story actually has maybe not a happy ending, but a very positive ending, because he took himself out of that addiction situation and he made something out of himself. So the one message that I really like is you can't just judge a person who you misunderstand because of how you see them right now, because their yesterday and their tomorrow might be very different, and it's always better for inclusion, right? So for us to be inclusive and to be more human and to be more open to each other, we need to understand the yesterday and tomorrow, not just look at today and make a judgment of a person. But the other thing I really like the analogy of the Rubik cubes, right? Because it's messy, and you know, it's really hard to make it straight. It's really hard. It was the main toy when I was growing up, so everybody were obsessed with that. I would never manage to put it together. So it really takes a person with a different type of mentality, with a lot of intellectual strengths to figure it out and to put it together. So it's a great analogy that your life can get really messy, but then you can get out of it, and you can put in this guy that you look at today is really intellectually very strong, and you know, he managed to bring his life together, to put it out of the mess into a very organized thing that reminds you the Rubik cubes that's put together, right? So that's really exciting, and I think it sets a really good example and really high bar for our challenges, that they need to be substance. We don't just want to see, you know, we want everybody to experiment, and we want everybody to participate and be part of it and get some feedback, and you know, we'll try our best, right, to give feedback to everybody who is participating, not just the winners. But we want to set the bar really high, and we want to really go deep into what the story behind your outfit, not just the outfit itself, but what is the story, and how that story together with the outfit is helping us to understand better something about that person or that community that we don't understand.
Yeah, and I think to put across, we are. I personally, I would rather someone to hear my voice more than what I have done, because many people can look on the outfit done, but they don't see what's behind it.
Yeah.
But when you put out the voice with those who are listening, and when you put out two things, the voice, the information behind the outfit, and the outfit itself, you can relate what are trying to portray out the community. Okay?
Yeah, it becomes more powerful, right? And you can really start a conversation about it.
Yeah.
Great. So we are going to announce our first organization, right? So as I mentioned earlier, we are going to pick organizations that we want to spotlight and make the center of the challenge. So we'll announce our organization and our idea for the challenge next week, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll try to run it for the whole month to give people an opportunity to kind of get into the groove, understand how to make sure that there is an outfit, but there is also a story behind it. We'll try to provide feedback, and we see how it goes. And then we'll make a list of organizations, and we are also open to suggestions from everybody on the call and in our community. Maybe there are organizations that you really think are worthy of being spotlighted as part of our challenges. We are happy to also hear that. And also what we wanted to ask, right, is we talked about resources today and how resources are important, and some resources you can find on your own, but some resources like mentorship, for example, are not that easily available. So we want to hear from the community what kind of prizes we can offer in terms of what kind of resources we can provide to our winners to help them keep moving one step at a time towards their desired and dream career. And we have to get here very creative, right? Because this challenge is open to everybody. So we can't possibly, I don't know, provide people with an office, for example, or continuous shipping sewing machines all over the globe. So we're looking for creative solutions and creative prizes that are helpful and can be delivered to anybody. So we also stay in the spirit of being very inclusive and do not decline people just because we can't deliver the prize to them.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Do you want to throw some ideas to start people thinking about the prizes?
Yeah. So there's some of the ideas we have been talking about them, whereby we can offer them some tags for the fashion designers that have started their brands. We can offer them some tags for their brand. We can also design for them the tags, the logos for their brands, and also we can do patterns for them, patterns for the final piece, and also give them some ideas about fabrics and about fabric patterns, and also mentorship with different people, because we are a bit the fact that you have been a bit networking with different people, we have got different friends in different fields, so we can try to connect them and have that mentorship online with different people in different professionals in different people, like different people in that can try and yeah. So I believe, yeah, they can also raise some suggestions, and we see what to do.
What I say is creatives out there, they should not expect much, because I believe in the beginnings. When you begin, you go on achieving what you want. Because right now it's the beginning, so expect not much. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's right. The way Eric has phrased it, we are just this is just a spark for you. You may see that it's not much, like there's not a lot of things, but it may be a spark for your career. Someone out there may see your work or your sketch that you have done out of this project, and they may take it over. You get, so don't expect much, but it's just the beginning. Take it as a beginning. Yeah.
I think it's more like don't expect much, but hope for a lot, because you never know who might be tuning in for our next live, or who would be looking at our YouTube conversations, where we're going to present some of the winning outfits. You never know who will inspired by the story that that you're telling as a designer.
Sure, that's right.
Great. So I think we should we can wrap up on this positive note. And as always, we'll post this video on the Glitter Trotter YouTube channel. So follow us on the Glitter Trotter. We'll post this video on Instagram for a while. And please do follow up the Creative Community Africa and send us suggestions about the challenge, about the prizes for the challenge, about who should be participate, how we can organize it. We want to make it a community activity where we all have a say on how it's run, and who wins, and what kind of reward we offer the winning creative for their hard work and their hard thinking.
Sure.
Great. So we'll see you next week with our additional announcements on the challenge.
All right.
Great conversation. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Anna.
Bye-bye.
Bye.